Desiree D-Ray, spiritual healing coach here, helping you to heal your relationship with self, to heal your relationship things. Peace and welcome. Listen, today we're going to talk about three key things that you could do this summer to repent yourself. If you were with me last week, I did a video talking about some of the key things that I learned throughout the month of May. And one of the big things that really showed up for me in the month of May was how essential it is for us to remother ourselves, to remother the wounded child. In that video, I talked about how we all have this wound inside of us that no matter how much work we do with our mothers or our fathers or with the people in our lives, there's just some things that we have to deal with ourselves. There's just some things that we have to look at with the inner child on our own. And so I want to talk about some things that has come up to support us in that process. So, hey, everybody, peace, Jenny. Jenny, I have been thinking about you so much. Maybe it's just in anticipation of our travel, but I'm so excited for us to connect in person. That's going to be a good time. Peace, everybody else. As you come in, please say hi. I would love to know that you're here. Okay. First of all, something new is happening on YouTube. Do y'all see it? Where it's like a little crown or something beside your names? I don't know what that is. What is that? What does that mean? I have no clue what that means. It's saying it's a leaderboard, a community leaderboard. I don't know what that means. Does that mean you comment the most, share the most? Jenny said, girl, I've been dreaming about y'all. I guess I am super excited. Exactly. I love when we get together in person, feel each other. Um, Before I get started, I want to say, Dream, my love, if it's possible, can you bring me out some coconut water? Is some coconut water in the cabinet, in the closet, in the pantry, and I need to wet my whistle a little bit. Okay. All right. So let's get into one of the first things. Okay. One of the first things that has come up, I feel like is so important in remothering and reparenting ourselves in general in this summer, is really rewriting the narratives. Okay. Telling a new story. Right. I was thinking about this morning. So many of us have been programmed with negative stereotypes, specifically catered into the summer season. Better not stay outside too long or you're going to get dark. You're going to be black as hell if you stay outside in that sun too long. What a negative programming and condition. Okay. Or let's say you done already been outside in the summer. Now you got family members coming up to you saying, ooh, you got dark. You got dark this summer. These are programs. Or even the programs of little girls. Little girls in the summer. Ooh, you better not get in the pool so much, your hair gonna break off. Right? You get in the pool too much, you're gonna be bald head. Have y'all ever heard these programmings? Have y'all ever heard these narratives? Let me tell you how real these stereotypes are. And it's so ridiculous, right? So I took my girls to a pool party. Took my girls to a pool party this past weekend for my volleyball team. It was our last team bonding of the season because the season just ended, right? Which I'm so grateful for. I'm grateful for no games, no nothing like that, for a few months. So grateful for that. And so I take my girls and I'm telling the parents, like, no, they're not going to really be getting in the pool like that. And the parents are thinking, oh, one of the moms said this, oh, you probably don't want to let them get in the pool because of their hair. Wrong. Wrong. That's a stereotype. That black women don't get in the pool because of their hair. That's a programming. And I had to tell them, no, it's not really the hair. I do hair all the time. I'm not really worried about hair. I do hair. Okay. I do my own hair, do my son's hair, do my daughter's hair. So it is hair. It's not really a big thing to me, for real, for real. I said the reason why I don't want them to get on the pool is because I'm a protective mama. I'm a mama bear. And so I'm trying to relax and enjoy this time with y'all, my players, the parents of my players. And if my daughters get in this pool, if my children were in the pool, that relaxation, that enjoy, that hee hee ha ha, that celebration of our last season wouldn't happen. Because now I'm on duty. I'm on duty no matter what. Okay. So, but the stereotype and the program based off of the conversation was that the hair. So that tells me that there's things like that in the collective consciousness of people that says there's a programming, there's an indoctrination of our mothers and our friends and our sisters, as well as our brothers or whatever, whatever. And I'm like, that's just not that's just I have chosen not to abide by and live within certain programmings or conditions that do not align with the life that I desire for myself. So a part of reparenting is not believing in the things that you've been told and the ways that you've had to live. And I see it twofold, right? Because on one side, there are things that I've taken away from my mother that I truly need, appreciate, honor, respect. And then there are other things where I'm like, no, mom, we're not doing all of that. And for many years, I will tell y'all, for many years, saying no to my mom or disagreeing with my mom was hard. And I could imagine that the reason why it felt hard or challenging was because that wounded child inside of me still needed some sort of connection or still felt under the weight or the pressure of my mother, whether it's her opinion, whether it is letting her tell me what's best for my life or whatever. Um, a part of my remothering journey of myself was deciding that I get to choose for myself. And I get to analyze what works and what doesn't work. And it's so funny, y'all. So some of y'all may have saw it, but this weekend we had a welcome to summer party. Well, on Monday, right? What y'all were probably celebrating was Memorial Day, right? And I respect that. We were celebrating welcome to summer. Okay. We were just like, and it was so freaking healing. If y'all are not following me on Instagram, you should be. D-Ray _ the healing coach. It's different on Instagram as far as my posting goes. On Instagram, I'm posting myself just, in my elements, really. Being a Patty in real life, being a mom in real life, and just doing what I do. So, yeah, you should be over there. YouTube is more detailed. YouTube is more obvious, the long form. Okay. but I think Instagram offers something different. Anyways, so we did a summer party, and we had about anywhere between, I don't know, 22 to 25 people over at our house. And when you're hosting for people, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes money, it takes visioning, all of that, right? Hosting a party. And I love it. And there were times where my mom wanted to like say, what if we do it this way? Right? So for example, Dream and I had originally scheduled the party to start at 6 p.m. We were tripping. We were, we were thinking about how we don't have to wake up and go to a job, right? We could be up as late as we want to be up, wake up when we want to wake up. We make our own schedule. Very much so still responsible, but it's not the same. So we totally forgot. Like, how are we going to start a party at 6 p.m. on a Monday, knowing that people got to go to school and to work on a Tuesday? My mom was like, she called me when we first sent the invitations, like, I thought y'all were going to do it a little bit earlier. Like, that's a little bit, you know. And I was like, nah, we want to wait till the sun goes down a little bit, whatever, whatever. After thinking about it, I was like, damn, I was right. We need to do this at like 3 o'clock, like 6 o'clock. Like, people got to go to work, people got jobs, whatever, whatever. We ended up moving it to 3 o'clock. Mind y'all, it was raining so bad that morning. Like, I was like, I don't even know. Well, actually, no. I want y'all to know that your prayers work, your affirmations work. What you say can come to pass. So we wake up in the morning, it's raining like crazy. And I'm like, you know what? This rain is going to pass by 3 o'clock. When I tell y'all we went to the store, it's raining. It's just raining. 2 o'clock came, 1 o'clock came, all of it started drying up. When I tell you it ended up being the most beautiful day. I say all of that to say things that I take from my mom, some of them are true and right and valid even to this day. But then on the other hand, there's times where I just got to say, yeah, no, Ma, that's not it. That's not going to work. Because I know and understand what I need and what I'm looking for. And so, part one in remothering yourself, especially whenever, right? But in this summer season, is just rewriting the narrative, telling a new story. Here's an opposite situation, right? Where my mother and where I followed my own instinct and not the instinct that I would have adopted from my mother. Okay. So my mother is the type of person when we have events like this, she is going to cook. She's going to do a lot, right? She's going to, even at the party on Monday, y'all, she came in with so many damn containers of food. It was crazy. Anytime she shows up to the party, you got to send the men outside to grab the food because it's going to be a lot. Is any of y'all mothers like that, or are y'all like that? I'm drinking coconut water all summer, okay? Because I just need the whole vibes, right? Look at this coconut water. Look at the beach on there. Like, that's my vibes all summer. Coconut water, we doing it, okay? Any of y'all parents like that, mothers like that, they're going to do the most. But it's all in love. It's just making sure that everybody has what they need. Well, that's my mama. That's my mama. Um, she's gotten better though. Like Iman said, right? She's gotten better because I've told her this started years ago. I remember years ago on a Christmas or Thanksgiving, my mama was so tired. She was so tired. I was looking at my mom while she's sitting on the couch dozing off our family over there. I said, lady, this is ridiculous. I told her straight right then and there. I said, Ma, this is ridiculous. You are sitting over here dozing off, sleepy as hell. For what? See, that's one of the things in the remothering of myself that I had to say, I'm not going to overextend myself. I'm not going to give of myself to my own detriment. And that's a multi-layered, multi-level thing for me. When I sort and sift through it all on my own personal journey, I am so looking forward to coming back and talking to y'all about it. But this overextension and this lack of self-care in women and mothers, I mean, it literally, for many women, becomes the death of them. And men too. Men too. Fathers do it too. You know, it's not just a women's thing. Fathers, men do it as well. But it's just, I've had to understand that everything has to be in balance. And so, like, even this weekend, while Dream would be saying, no, let's do this. Because Dream is a giver like my mom. They will give, you know, they'll show up, they'll whatever. I've had to say, no, let's do less. Ooh. Sometimes that do less, it makes people feel uncomfortable. Especially when dealing and engaging with family or dealing with money, right? A lot of times we've been conditioned to think that we gotta do it big. We gotta do the most. And I've just learned to find balance and sometimes say no, and sometimes say, okay, split the bill, split the work, split the task. And it always ends up working out so well. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times Dream and I will go to a restaurant with our family. We will pay for the entire bill. Then there's sometimes I got to tell Dream, I got to tap them on the shoulder. I got to say, let them do it. They want to do it. We don't have to be the heroes. That's a lesson learned, you know? So, like, even this week, when we had the summer party, I did just the right amount of stuff. I cooked just the right amount of food, ordered just the right amount of food, even had other people bring stuff in just the right amount for everybody to have some leftovers, everybody that came. If you want to take a plate home, take a plate home. You're good to go. Just enough for my family to have some leftovers and be done with it. We had just the right amount of food. We had that party on Monday. Yesterday, we ate the rest of that food. There's no more. See, we have been used to having situations to where people taking food home. I eat as much as I want to eat, and I still got some in the refrigerator. Doing too much. So we had tapped into the perfect amount of overflow and abundance. Because you don't want to have so much that you become wasteful. You don't know what to do with it. You want to have the right amount to invest, the right amount to use for your everyday life, the right amount to pour into other people. That's what you got to have. So, but this comes financially, this comes energetically, this is spiritually, this is physically, this is all the things. Y'all put a check in the chat if y'all picking up what I'm putting down. Just let me know you feel me or something, okay? So that's number one, rewriting the narrative. And then not only rewriting the narrative, but also like telling a new story, okay? In that redefining moment, you also have to live it. So your actions change. How you talk to yourself changes. How you engage with other people changes. I was just talking about this on one of my Patreon videos. I have a young lady that I'm working with. Thank y'all for all y'all texts in the chat. I love seeing y'all in here. Thank you. Um, Me and a lady, we're both coordinators where we work at, and I love her. She's become like a little sister of mine. She's so, I don't know, a kindred spirit. I love connecting with kindred spirits, right? And I appreciate our relationships, however long they last. I enjoy it, and I love doing what I get to do. So, anyways, she is dating this guy, and the guy has been showing up, right? And the reason why I have such a love for this new thing that she's exploring and for her is because her situation reminds me so much of me and Dream, right? She, the volleyball player, him, the personal trainer, and their friendship starting off as him just training her. And then they go their separate ways, live their lives for a while, and then some way, somehow they get back to connecting with each other. They start off just in the fitness, and then they look at each other and say, I kind of like you. And he is at the time in his life where he's actually prepared for something serious. And she's at the time in her life where she's actually prepared for something serious. And so it just reminds me so much of us. And so she has been having such, I mean, beautiful experiences with the guy. When she, when we at work, we talk about what we got going on in our lives. That's how we make connections and build camaraderie, and how we develop a good work environment. So she tells me all of these wonderful things, wonderful experiences her and the guy are having. And after it, she says things like, but I'm just nervous. I'm just waiting on the shoe to drop. Like, how long is this good thing going to last? And I said to her the other day, I said, why do you feel like that's something that you have to say or do or feel? Why do you feel like that has to be your reality? Where does that come from? And then I tell her, you can choose right now to just accept this good thing that is present in your life. And I have to also explain this. Even if for some crazy reason the relationship doesn't work out, it was still a good thing. You learned something, you grew, you expanded, you experienced, you had love, you had joy, you had fun, you learned, you grew. What's wrong with that? And so these are the things that we've had to discuss, and these are the things that I'm so proud of her, because she also, whenever we talk about something, it's like I'm coaching her, right? Which is what I do every day, all day. But when we talk about something, she does it, and then she comes back and she reports back and she says, "Oh my God, you were right. Thank you so much for telling me that." And I'm like, "You're welcome," but it took you doing it. You had to choose that you're going to do something different. You're going to be something different. And so now her and the guy are just continuously growing and doing something beautiful. But like Iman said, you have to have a heart open. But all in all, you got to be about that action. And you have to be willing to receive the support that you need to bring forth, that action, to bring forth consistency in that new state of being, whatever it is. One of the things about reparenting yourself and remothering yourself is the ability to ask for help. A lot of the struggles that we faced in our lives when it came down to understanding how and why our parents are showing up in the ways that they did is a part of the trauma that we barely talk about, is how we had the experience but had no one to talk to about it. I was talking about this the other day. When I was growing up and experiencing certain levels of trauma, some big, some small, but all impactful, you know, when my mother was going through her domestic violence disputes, I didn't go to the school and talk to the counselor. I didn't even tell my father when I would get with him on the weekend. That was something me and my brothers and my mama We kept between our family. We kept between us, pushed down, moved on. When I was feeling abandoned or rejected by my father, right? I didn't really get to communicate how I felt about it, right? My mom would complain and do her things, but her feelings weren't necessarily my feelings. Her feelings were anger, pissed off, mad as hell, right? This is supposed to be her weekend apart, away from the kids, her free weekend, or she's looking at her daughter who's sad because her dad is not picking her up today. So she had a different emotion. I had a different emotion. But could I come to her in that moment and say, Mom, I'm really feeling a little bit rejected or abandoned or unworthy? No. I cry about it, wipe my tears, and move on. So one of the things about remothering ourselves and reparenting ourselves is having someone to talk to about the challenges we faced. I know my first time having a therapy session, my mind was like blown wide the hell open. And I was like, okay. And I really feel like that session that I had was one of the catalysts that I had transmuting and transforming specific wounded child traumas. I was able to connect some dots and make sense of some things. So that's a big thing because a lot of our inner wounded child, right, did not have anybody to talk about the traumas we faced with. You felt shunned, silenced, or like people just wouldn't understand, or if you expressed your truth, there would be some sort of consequence. Okay, so that's trauma on top of trauma. So key number 2 is be willing to talk about things, but most importantly, be willing to get support in this remothering, reparenting journey. Okay? And sometimes I'll also tell you, sometimes that support is strictly spiritual. Sometimes that support is coming directly from your ancestors, it's coming directly from your spirit team. Sometimes that support is just like, show me something, reveal something to me. And then boom, your ancestors give you a download, a channel. Okay. Number 3 of remothering yourself this summer is going to be to live so authentically in your power, in your gifts, in your magic. So a lot of times it can be difficult for our parents to really nurture the gifts that we have for multiple reasons. I think everybody's reasons are different. One is maybe mom or dad is in survival mode, and so they just don't have the time to pour in, recognize, enlighten, uplift, encourage, and discipline you to operate that gift. That happens. Sometimes moms, fathers, parents may be so caught up in chasing after their own gifts that they don't have the awareness to pour in you. Sometimes a mom or a father may be unconsciously living through their children. And so instead of letting their gifts unfold naturally and within their own time, instead of just creating a safe space for those gifts, the parents exploit the gifts, which changes the energy and the essence of it as well. And so, um, or sometimes people just don't know how to give compliments. Parents just don't know how to say, you look beautiful today, or you are beautiful, or good job on that work, or I see you, or I love what you did. Oh, you're so good at that. Wow. You're so talented. There's so many reasons as to why we shut our gifts down or we hide. I want to tell you that one of the greatest blessings that you could ever give to yourself and to the world is to operate those gifts. You know, I was using my gifts so much that I got a little bit hoarse. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. I'm grateful for that. But it also was like, okay, manage your gift. Manage your gift. So that's what I've been having to do, you know. Uh, but I tell you 100% for sure that the more I give of myself, the more blessings I receive. And um it can be kind of scary. It can be kind of scary because you wonder if you showing up in your authenticity and your gift and your light, you wonder if there is potential for it to be misused, for it to be misrepresented, or for it to be devalued. So uh, I've had to choose, you know, not to worry about that too much, but to just be very conscious, be very aware, okay? Breathe and feel into the moment, because sometimes you may have the opportunity to use your gift, but it's not the right time. So you really got to understand the nature of your gifts to know when, how, whatever. So like for me, one of my best friends and her boyfriend were actually at our house. We're actually at our house just this past weekend, and anytime people come to our house, they relax, they surrender. Our house is really a safe haven for love, for healing, for creativity. We have a southwest facing house, meaning our front door faces the southwest direction. That energy in itself is love, it's family, it's connection, it's heart, it's relationships. And so anytime people enter into our home, it's a safe space where people feel that love and they feel good. And within that means people are free to kind of open up and express themselves. So my friend and her boyfriend, who they're gonna be getting engaged very soon. Man, I could tell y'all so much shit about why it is so important to make changes in your life. Even that friend that I'm talking about, she would sometimes settle in her past relationships for people that she just knew wasn't on the right frequency as her, right? In so many different ways. Because my friend, she's luxurious, but also very down to earth. She's loving, she's goofy, she's funny, but she's also reserved and quiet. So she's just this multifaceted, dynamic woman. And oh my God, she dresses. She dresses for the gods, okay? The girl can put some clothes together. And so beautiful. I remember we had this conversation. It had to be 2 years ago. We're sitting in my kitchen. I told y'all, because my house is a place where people open up. We're sitting in the kitchen at the table, and she's like, you know what, D? I'm just about to stop settling for all bullshit. Like anytime a man says something or does something that I know gives me red flag energies, I'm just cutting it off. Done. And she was just like, I know God got somebody good for me out there. And if I keep entertaining these peons, these little fish in the sea, it's not gonna be what it is. And she stood on her business. So many times we were having conversations, she was like, yep, nope, done, boom, blah, boom. I was like, girl, you ain't playing. A few months later, I don't even know if it was a few months. It was probably 1 month, 2 months. That's how God works. God speed. Shit changes in your life instantly when you decide to change. So a month or two, I don't even know how long later, because time doesn't really exist. I know it happened fast. Her sister's boyfriend, best friend, comes to Houston to visit his homeboy who's in Houston, right? So they're here, they're kicking it, whatever. And the sister's boyfriend homeboy, beeline straight to her. And he says to her, you know, I've been watching you or seeing you, you know, with your sister or whatever. And I just want to let you know I'm interested. He went straight at it. Dude was so knowing and convicted about her from one or two experiences hanging out with her, and then just knowing her by just knowing this is my best friend's boyfriend, this is my best friend's girlfriend's sister. By just knowing of her, hearing about her, being around her in and out, he automatically knew that she was like, I'm serious. I really want to get to know you. For her birthday, so they met. For her birthday, he comes back to town, brings a gift, whole big thing. Real nice experience. I want to say that same weekend after her birthday, he said, let me take you out to dinner. They went out to dinner, chit-chatted. The rest is history. So when we decide to change, things change like literally Godspeed. But the changes that you're making, they have to be the changes that are truly in alignment with where you are being asked to go, right? You can't change something that don't carry no weight. Like, what's that? Like, what? Okay. So anyways, they were at my house. So they've been together in December. This December, her birthday, would make 2 years of them talking and being together. So, you know, it's happening so beautiful, right? So anyways, they were at our house this weekend and we're just talking. And he starts to tell us about some things that are going on with his father. His father um, uh, um, developed this disease, this that has made him immobile and barely can speak. Some very deep shit. So we're sitting down talking about it. And he's just explaining to us about what's going on with his father. And when he said the disease that his father is dealing with, or healing from, I should say, when he said the disease that his father is healing from, Spirit started to channel to me what actually caused that on a spiritual level. And I had to pause and I had to say to him, I had to say, I'm receiving a message for you that could give you understanding about what your father is experiencing. Do you mind if I share it with you? See, that's one of those situations where my gift is activated, is turned on, but I want to manage the gifts and I want to make sure that I'm using it in a way that is supporting and uplifting and not just like flexing a muscle. So it came up and I asked him and he said, yeah, share. He said, yeah, share, because it was so dope. He said, yeah, share, because I'm already feeling something. I feel like I'm under it with him. And he said, yeah, you right. Everything you said, you right. And then when he started to talk about what I said from his perspective and what he observed from his father, he started to tear up. And that was beautiful. And Dream and I were like, we were able to make light of it, because it was funny because Dream was just talking about him crying as a man, you know? And it ended up being such a beautiful conversation. I ended up telling him, you know, thank you so much for being so vulnerable with us. Like, we respect that and we honor that. Thank you for allowing me to share my gift with you, right? Because not every time is somebody available or open or receptive to that. So when it comes to sharing your gift, you just have to gain a certain level of wisdom to know how to operate and like live from that space in everything you do. In everything you do. You know, I told y'all it was raining on Monday morning. And I called all of my family members that Monday morning, and I told them, I said, y'all, don't worry about the rain. It's going to clear up. Still prepare to come over here. Make your food. Do whatever you're doing. I done already prayed and affirmed that the rain will clear up. While my best friend gets to my house, she's such an angel in my life. She gets to my house. She says, girl, God answers your prayers. She don't know. She's spiritual. She does know. She does know. She's a Cancer. Her birthday is actually coming up in June. So she's very intuitive. But she said, girl, God answers your prayers. And I was like, you right. My prayers do get answered, right? The things that I affirm and the things that I speak do come to pass. That's a gift. That's a gift that we all actually have. You know what I mean? So it's just about becoming aware of these things, being conscious of them, and then utilizing it. No matter who's clapping for you, no matter who's cheering you on, as long as you know. Okay? Those are the 3 things that I wanted to share with y'all for remothering and reparenting yourself this summer. Number 1 is just changing the narrative. Number 2, it's really walking the path. It's really taking the action. It's really and getting the support that you need to embody a more holistic state of being for yourself. And then lastly, it's just being so purposeful in being who you were called to be. All right? Yeah, that's my message for y'all. Simple, straight to the point. I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing how y'all put this to work and the fruitfulness that it brings to y'all. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Y'all have any questions before I get out of here? It's summertime. The kids are at home. We are doing no TV. Iman, tell me what you said your father used to do to y'all when y'all were a kid during the summer for TV. Like, was it like no TV all day, every day of summer? Was it one day of the week? What was it for y'all? If you're still here. If you're still here. Okay. Alrighty, family. Well, I'm not seeing any messages or anything like that. So I love y'all. Peace. Oh, enjoy the rest of y'all's week. Patreon. We will see y'all on Saturday, or maybe even tomorrow. Maybe see y'all tomorrow. Maybe, or for sure Saturday. Okay. Peace and love, y'all.